serving for over 30 years should be honored.
Amen.
Yeah. And I know all the glory goes to God. Absolutely. But another reason I wanted to do that is just as an example to all of us to keep serving and to know that our labor in the Lord is not in vain. So here's what I did is I contacted the leadership team here at Edgewood, and I said, give me 3 words that describe Jim Kohler. And I have a list of 25 words. And many of them are duplicates. So many people said the same thing. And so, Jim, I want you to hear these words that come from people who've served with you and who know you well. You are dedicated. You are faithful. You're very hardworking. You're humble. You're honest. You're tenacious. You're wise. You're courageous. Jim is extremely generous. God's given you a tender heart. You're fruitful. You're spiritually minded. You're genuine. You're unselfish. You're godly. And you're caring. And if that's not enough, I just said 16. We have more to come here. Jim, God's also given you a compassionate heart. You're very thorough. You go over and beyond, over and above whatever God has asked you to do. One person said this, Jim is determined. If he sets his mind to a project, there's a high probability that it's going to happen. Jim, you're also gracious. God's given you insight, and you're very loving. On top of all of that, God's given you a heart for Him. He's given you a heart for people, and He's given you a heart for your family. And lastly, but it's not last, God has given you and Marcia a biblical marriage that's an example to all of us. And Marcia, you are Jim's partner in marriage. You're his partner in ministry. You're his sounding board. And you're his faithful encourager. And Marcia, would you stand so we can just say thank you to you as well? Jim reminds me a lot of Joshua because you're also a man of Scripture. Jim and Marcia taught the college and career group here for many years. That was some time ago. And Jim and Marcia now lead one of our growth groups. We have about 30 different growth groups. About 20 of them meet during the week, and about 10 of them meet on Sunday morning beginning at 9:30. And I hope you take advantage of one of those during the week or Sunday morning. When Beth and I lead our Next Steps group, we promote the growth groups, and a lot of our newer people are very interested. But as soon as I promote the Sunday morning growth groups, I have to say, Jim, here's what I tell people. I say, hey, they're all open except one. The class that Jim Kohler leads is not open. And here's why. Because it's full. There's no room in his group for more people to come to. And Jim also has been and is continuing to be extremely helpful as we look at the stewardship of our space here and our property. Just recently we took a road trip to Chicago and looked at some other facilities to see what they have done with their facilities to make sure that we can get some more space as well. And so, Jim, it's so hard to know even what to give you. There's so many things that you've done, and we thought that a clock that's an attractive looking clock that you could put on somewhere at home that would remind you that your life is in God's hands. And the way we think of you is that you give your time and your talents and your treasures to Him. And on the bottom here it says, presented to James W. Kohler for his many years of faithful service on the deacon board of Edgewood Baptist Church. Here you go, Jim.